Annual board meetings for the Children's Hospital Foundation usually took place in elegant conference rooms, but tonight's emergency session was being held in the hospital itself due to a crisis with their largest donor. Catherine Walsh had driven through the snowstorm to attend, her cream wool coat still damp from the December weather as she waited in the pediatric wing for the meeting to begin. At 30 years old, Catherine had inherited Walsh Industries from her father and transformed it into one of the most successful tech companies in the country. Tonight, she was here to pledge additional funding to ensure the hospital's holiday programs could continue despite their financial shortfall. Catherine was reviewing donation proposals on her tablet when she noticed a small figure sitting alone in the far corner of the waiting room. A little girl with blonde ringlets was curled up in an oversized brown coat, holding a teddy bear and quietly singing to herself. "Twinkle, twinkle, little star," the child sang softly, "how I wonder what you are." Catherine looked around for the child's parents but saw only a few other adults who appeared to be waiting for news about their own family members. Concerned, she approached the little girl's chair. "Hello there," Catherine said gently, sitting in the adjacent seat. "Are you here by yourself?" The little girl looked up with bright blue eyes and shook her head. "My daddy is upstairs talking to doctors about his heart. The nice nurse lady said I should wait here because the talking might take a really long time." "What is your name, sweetheart?" Catherine asked. "I am Emma," the child replied, hugging her teddy bear closer. "This is Honey Bear. She is my best friend because she never gets tired of listening to my songs." "Those are beautiful songs, Emma," Catherine said. "How old are you?" "I am 4, Emma said proudly, holding up 4 small fingers. "Daddy says I am very grown up for 4 because I can wait patiently and I do not cry when he has to go to doctor meetings." "Where is your mommy?" Catherine asked softly. Emma's expression grew solemn. "My mommy is in heaven. She went there when I was just a little baby because her heart stopped working. Daddy says she became a star so she could watch over us always." Catherine felt her chest tighten as she looked at this brave little girl who spoke about loss with such acceptance. "That must make you miss her very much." "Every day," Emma nodded. "Especially when I see other girls with their mommies. I wonder what it would feel like to have a mommy hug me or braid my hair or teach me girl things." Emma studied Catherine's face with the intense observation that children possess. "You have gentle eyes like I think a mommy would have. And your coat is so soft and pretty." "Thank you, Emma. You seem very sweet and smart." Emma scooted closer to Catherine on the waiting room chair. "Can I ask you something very important?" "Of course." "I do not have a mama. Can I spend a day with you? We could do special things like paint pictures and have pretend tea parties, and maybe you could show me how to make my hair look as pretty as yours." Catherine felt overwhelmed by the innocent request and the longing in Emma's voice. This child was asking not for toys or treats, but for the simple experience of maternal care that most children took for granted. "Emma, that sounds wonderful," Catherine said carefully. "But we would need to ask your daddy first when he comes back from his meeting." "Ask me what?" came a tired voice from across the waiting room. Catherine looked up to see a man in his early 30s approaching them. He wore jeans and a work shirt, and his face showed the exhaustion of someone dealing with ongoing medical concerns. "Daddy!" Emma exclaimed, jumping up to hug him. "This is my new friend Catherine. She has been keeping me company and listening to my songs." "Thank you for sitting with her," the man said gratefully, extending his hand to Catherine. "I am David Chen. I am sorry if Emma talked your ear off. She gets lonely during these long hospital visits." "Not at all," Catherine replied, shaking his hand. "Emma is delightful company. She was telling me about wanting to spend time with someone who could do mother-daughter activities with her." David's expression grew both grateful and sad. "Emma, we have talked about this. You cannot just ask strangers to be your pretend mommy." "But Daddy, Catherine is nice and she did not mind when I sat close to her," Emma protested. "And she smells like flowers and has a kind voice." Catherine found herself drawn to this father who was clearly devoted to his daughter while managing his own health challenges. "David, if you do not mind me asking, is everything okay with your treatment?" Catherine asked. "I have a heart condition that requires regular monitoring," David explained. "Nothing immediately dangerous, but it means frequent hospital visits and sometimes uncertainty about my long-term prognosis. That must be difficult to manage as a single parent, Catherine said compassionately. It is, David admitted. My biggest worry is not about myself, but about what would happen to Emma if something happened to me. She does not have any other family. Emma tugged on Catherine's coat. See, Daddy worries about me all the time. If I had a lady friend, maybe he would not have to worry so much. Catherine looked at this father and daughter who were facing uncertainty together with such courage and love. David, if you would be comfortable with it, I would genuinely love to spend time with Emma. Not out of pity, but because she reminds me of what is truly important in life. David looked surprised. That is incredibly kind, but you do not know us. Why would you want to take on that responsibility? Because Emma asked me to, Catherine said simply. And because I run a company but I have never had a family. Maybe we could help each other. The following Saturday, Catherine discovered that the strategic planning skills that made her successful in business worked perfectly for organizing tea parties, coordinating art projects, and managing the complex logistics of a 4-year-old's attention span. Miss Catherine, Emma said as they sat in Catherine's living room making jewelry from colorful beads, do you think my mommy in heaven can see us having fun together? I think your mommy would be so happy to see you laughing and learning new things, Catherine replied, helping Emma string beads onto elastic cord. I wish I could tell her about you, Emma said seriously. I would tell her that you give the best hugs and that you know how to make my hair look like a princess. Over the following months, Catherine found herself reorganizing her corporate empire around Emma's school schedule and David's medical appointments. She discovered that the negotiation skills that made her a successful CEO translated beautifully to mediating disputes between stuffed animals and convincing 4-year-olds that vegetables could be delicious. Catherine, David said one evening as they watched Emma perform an elaborate puppet show for her collection of dolls, I need you to know that what you have given Emma is beyond anything I could have hoped for. David, Emma has given me a purpose I never knew I was missing, Catherine replied. She taught me that success without family is just an empty achievement. And what about us? David asked quietly. What we have been building as a family unit. Catherine looked at David, seeing not just Emma's devoted father but the man who had trusted her with his most precious relationship. I think we have been building something beautiful and permanent. 9 months later, as Catherine officially adopted Emma and married David in a ceremony held in the hospital chapel where they had first met, Catherine reflected on how a chance encounter in a waiting room had given her the family she never knew she needed. Mama Catherine, Emma said during their first Christmas morning as an official family, thank you for saying yes when I asked if I could spend a day with you. Thank you for teaching me that the most valuable things in life cannot be bought or sold, only shared with the people we love, Catherine replied, holding Emma close while David wrapped them both in his arms. Sometimes, Catherine realized, the most important meetings happen not in boardrooms, but in hospital waiting rooms where lonely hearts find each other during life's most uncertain moments.